So I have a sort of an unknown piece of wood, although I am pretty sure it's pear. But I turned some a couple years ago when it was green, really pretty wood. This has been in the back room of my shop for over 2 years, so it's plenty dry. I put a flat spot in there and a hole for a worm screw. So let's get it mounted up and see what it looks like on the inside. Alright, I went ahead and cut the corners off just to make it a little easier. I think we're doing pretty good now at around 550 RPM. 5/8 bowl gouge. Alright, I think I'm going to move up to the other end. A little easier on the bark if you go this direction. That's definitely dry, and we have established a nice line here where the bark's at. So now we can go ahead and finish cutting this direction, which is much easier to cut that direction. Now I'm going to make this side a lot steeper. It's pretty wide here, and I think maybe it'll help clean up this wood right here that's not so good. And it looks like I'll have to take quite a bit off the bottom because that's in pretty bad shape there. About 720 RPM. And I just resharpened the 5/8 bowl gouge. Probably going to get about a 3-inch tenon on here. So this is what I have to work with. And put a little more shape right here before I do that. And that little knot that was in there fell out. Alright, I got to think about this for a while. This is not looking so good right there. So I had a knot fall apart here, and I still have a area where there's wood missing. I think it probably rotted away. I don't really like the looks of that, so I'm going to shorten it and start over on the base. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That is just about right. So now I need to cut a dovetail on this. First I'm going to square it up. So now we'll just take the skew and cut the angle on it for the dovetail. Pull it back and check it. Okay, that should do it. I think I can go ahead and smooth this up and sand it. Use my negative rake scraper. Okay, I think we can go ahead and sand this. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of the sanding. I'll be using a 2-inch disc starting with 80 grit and sanding up through 400. I'll be sanding in reverse around 350 to 400 RPM. And I'm going to get my dust collector going, get a mask on, and I'll show you some of that. Okay, I'm going to use Minwax wipe-on poly satin on this piece. And the reason I'm using that is going to give it more of an oil looking finish. At least I'm hoping so. We'll just be putting it on with a rag like that, just wiping it on. I'm looking at these areas in that soft wood thinking that I should try to fill it, but after seeing it this way I think I'm just going to leave them go. I think this finish gives it a nice tint. It does change it from being very clear to a more of a yellowish color. Very easy to put on. So we'll go ahead and get that finished up. I don't know how many it's going to take. I'm going to guess I'll have to wipe it on about 4 times or so. But I'll go ahead and do that and we'll get it turned around and do the inside. So see you a little later. Okay, I've got it flipped around. It is the next morning, and as you just watched, I sharpened up the gouges I'll use this morning. It is always nice to start your morning with a fresh gouge and a cup of coffee. So, we're going to be spinning this around 700 RPM, 5/8 bowl gouge. I'm going to take one more cut down that wall and we should be at about a 1/2 inch. Okay, that did it. So I got about a 1/2 inch here, and I think I still have about 3/4 there. So now we're going to work the bottom out of the way. Alright, that's not too bad. I think I'll just use the nose of the negative rake scraper to clean that little corner up there. Okay, that got it. Ah, got it. Looks pretty good, even in that soft wood. So I'm going to get these chips all cleaned up, get them in a bag, and our daughter's coming over. I think I'll let her have them for her chickens, and then I'll be back and we'll sand the inside of the bowl. I'm ready to sand, and this had a real shiny, hard white substance on the bark. So I used this little orange nylon brush, and I went over all of it, and I didn't finish it yet, so I'll show you what I did. So that actually takes it off. I'll finish doing that, sand the inside, and it's pretty smooth from the negative rake scraper. So I'm going to start with 120. We'll be sanding going forward at around 400. I'll get a mask on and I'll do a little sanding, and when I come back it'll be time to put the finish on the inside. It's all sanded to 400, and I got the bark pretty cleaned up. I think it's going to look good. And I blew all the dust out of the little crevices, and I won't be patching those. There's a little inclusion right here. So now I'm going to put the oil-based wipe-on poly on it. Just like we did on the bottom. And wipe it in, and not sure if I mentioned when I was doing the bottom, but I like this because it has kind of a tint to it. And this wood looked very dried out, and I thought it would bring some color out of it, and it did. It's got these really unusual spider lines in there. And it is dry, like I said. It's really going to soak in. It took about 2 coats for the bottom to start getting filled in. We're going to go over the bark with a brush. I'm glad I cleaned that hard white stuff off of there. It's much better looking. So that's what we're going to do. Probably 4 coats on the inside here. Alright, let's go ahead and remove the tenon. I'll use a block in my chuck with some padded material. Well, here it is, and it is all done. And my compressor came on when I was cutting the tenon, and the only thing you missed was I took this off the lathe and I sanded that nub off, and then I put some finish on it. So there it is. But the bowl itself is really a pretty piece of wood. I'm very happy with it. Finished 10 inches the long way, it's 8.5 the other, and it's about 4 inches tall. And the walls are about a 1/2 inch, and I did that because the bark is so pretty. I wanted to leave a good amount of it, and I think it looks just right. When I sanded it and blew it off, the wood looked so dry I wanted to get some life back in it. So I decided to use the Minwax wipe-on poly oil-based, because that will tint your wood. And I used a Satin because I didn't want this real shiny. And I think it did a good job. And I put 4 coats on the bottom and on the inside. It's very smooth and has a really nice rich look to it. What I found really interesting was this area right in here. I think I might have called them spider webs, but I've got them all around the place here, and I just think they're really very unique on the inside as well. When I got to looking at it, I thought, well, people actually electrocute their bowls. There's some method where they have high voltage and they poke it at one end and then poke it at the other, and electricity travels and burns it. Well, I'm not going to do that, but maybe nature did it to this bowl, and I'm really happy if that's what happened, and I'm very happy to turn a bowl if nature wants to give me those designs, but I'm not going to start electrocuting my bowls. So I really had a lot of fun making this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. It is most appreciated. If you liked the video, you can let me know by clicking the like button. If you click that share button, that would also be great. Special thanks to all you subscribers. You are the best. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so. I do all types of turnings, and I love reading all your comments as well. So, till the next time, see you later.